What's up, you guys? Back here to make another prediction video for the upcoming MLB season 2016. Just going to go through the divisions on both leagues, give you my rankings of who I think is going to finish where, and then at the very end I'm going to give you an NL champion, an AL champion, and then who I think is going to win the World Series. Alright, so I'm going to start with the American League, and I'll start with the American League West. Just work our way over. So you got the Houston Astros, the Texas Rangers, the Los Angeles Angels, Seattle Mariners, and the Oakland A's. So it's going to be a pretty good division, I think. There's two teams that really probably stand out. Well, at least one that really stands out, and then one that's, could be a threat. And I see that as being the Houston Astros and the Texas Rangers. I like what the Rangers did last year. I think it's going to be really big that they're going to get their stud back in Darvish. That's going to help them a ton. Hopefully he can stay healthy, though. I know he's had a long, hard recovery process from these surgeries. And then the Houston Astros, I really like what they did last year. Their offense, it's going to be just as good as it was last year. And they were super explosive, super fast, super scary team to face. I think they're going to be really good as well. And then you're going to have, the Angels are going to be good. When you have a guy like Mike Trout leading the team, the team's always going to be right there in the thick of it. So I think they're going to be good as well. The Mariners, I like Felix Hernandez. He's really good, and he's a great pitcher. He can lead that. He has the potential to lead that team. To maybe climb some positions in the division. I don't see them as being a super big playoff threat, but probably going to be an improved team. And then the Oakland A's, I don't really know what's going to happen with them this year. I know they have some decent pitching and some average offense, but they lost some people last year in free agency and stuff like that, and at the trade deadline. So for the AL West, I'm going to go ahead and say the top finisher is going to be my prediction: the Houston Astros. Second would be Texas Rangers. Third would be the Los Angeles Angels. Fourth would be the Seattle Mariners, and then fifth would be the Oakland A's. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and go to the AL East now. You got the Toronto Blue Jays, the New York Yankees, Boston Red Sox, Baltimore Orioles, and Tampa Rays. So, historically, super hard division, with the Yankees and the Red Sox pretty much leading the way for a lot of it. Recently, the Blue Jays have gotten really good, and then the Orioles have been pretty good recently. They were really good 2 years ago. This past year, they were still good, but not good enough, obviously. And then the Tampa Bay Rays, who were good about 5 years ago, and now they're just rebuilding and stuff like that, which is fine. Every team has to do that eventually. But I really like the Blue Jays. I think they're really going to be a competitor. We all saw what they did in the postseason last year, adding Tulowitzki and Price to their team. That was huge. But obviously they just couldn't beat those Royals. But I mean, they're a really good team, and if the Royals weren't so good last year, they probably would have made it to the World Series and might have even won it. So I'm going to go ahead and put the Blue Jays at number 1 in this division. And then I like the Red Sox at number 2, but it could be either the Red Sox or the Yankees in my opinion. They both got better, and it could come down to like a half game to decide who's going to finish second and third in my opinion for the AL East. So I'm going to go with the Yankees third, and then Baltimore I'm going to say fourth, and then Tampa Rays I'm going to say fifth. Alright, so now we're going on to the AL Central. You got the defending world champions, the Kansas City Royals, the Detroit Tigers, the Cleveland Indians, the Chicago White Sox, and the Minnesota Twins. This division is not going to be as competitive as it has been. I see the Royals getting a pretty commanding lead, having a commanding lead throughout the year in this division. I just think the Royals, they really did not lose anybody. They're super good still. I actually placed a little bet on them in spring training last year because I knew they went to the World Series 2 years ago against the Giants and lost, and I knew they didn't really lose anybody. And I knew they're getting they're still really good. So I put some money down on them in spring training, won a little bit of money when they won the World Series, which is nice. I'm going to say the Kansas City Royals number 1, and then I'm going to go Detroit Tigers number 2. I really like what the Tigers did in spring training this year. And then I'm going to go Cleveland Indians for number 3. They still have their core guys there still, and they've been, in the middle of the division, top division for the past couple of years. I think they're going to stay right there. They keep their core together. They'll be right there. And then I'm going to go with the White Sox at 4th, and then the Minnesota Twins finishing 5th in the AL Central. All right, we're going to move on to the National League now. We'll start with the West. National League West, we got the San Francisco Giants, the Los Angeles Dodgers, Arizona Diamondbacks, San Diego Padres, and Colorado Rockies. This division it was already good in the first place with the Dodgers and the Giants, but it got super more competitive, especially with the Dbacks signing Zach Greinke and Shelby Miller, and getting Gene Segura to boost their offense. The Giants added Johnny Cueto and Jeff Samardzija to bolster an already super impressive pitching rotation. And then the Dodgers added Scott Kazmir, which that's going to be really good for them, and from the Astros, and that's going to be really good for them as well, to already a pretty solid rotation, but they lost Greinke, so Kazmir is basically going to replace Greinke, and it looks like Ryu might not even play until the All-Star break this year, so their pitching is going to struggle a little bit, especially early on. You can't just depend on Kershaw and Kazmir to do everything for you. Those 3 teams, the Giants, the D-backs, and the Dodgers, I think anyone could win that division out of those 3. Just for the sake of it being an even year, and the fact that the Giants somehow find a way to win every even year, plus the 2 additions they made to their rotation, I'm going to go ahead and put the Giants at number 1. I'm going to put the D-backs at number 2. Probably might get a wild card spot. I'll put them at number 2. I like what they did with adding Miller, Greinke, and like I said, Gene Segura to an already super explosive offense, and they won the Defensive Team of the Year last year. I like them at 2nd, finishing over the Dodgers. I think the pitching issues with the Dodgers is going to be something that's going to struggle. They're going to struggle with, and then their offense is pretty good. The Dodgers, they kept their core there too. If you can hit, you can win games, but if you can't pitch, well, you're not going to win games either. So I'll be interested to see who's going to do what in that division. And then 4th, I'm going to go with the Padres. If they can get their chemistry down and their pitching can turn solid, I think they're going to be a real threat in the division. But I just don't really see it happening. I feel like the decisions they made to add Matt Kemp and they had Ian Kennedy and James Shields. I think the decision they made sounded really good, but it's not going to pay off, I don't think, and they're just going to take a pretty big hit for that, and they'll probably end up start to rebuild again. And then 5th, I'm going to put the Colorado Rockies in there. They're in a rebuilding stage, but they did add some pieces, and their offense. If you look at their lineup, Carlos Gonzalez, DJ LeMahieu, Arenado, Charlie Blackmon, added Gerardo Parra. I think if you look at their lineup, they have the potential to be great. It's just always the pitching with the Rockies that they can't really get figured out. They play in a really hitter-friendly ballpark, and if their pitching's not very good, they're going to give up a lot of runs like they have. And so that's why I think they're going to finish 5th, because they just can't get that pitching all sorted out. So, all right. Now we got the NL East. We got the New York Mets, the Washington Nationals, the Miami Marlins, the Atlanta Braves, and the Philadelphia Phillies. All right. So the Mets, super good, great offense, great pitching. One of the top 3 pitching rotations in the league. We saw what they did to the Cubs last year in the NLCS. They swept them. It's really hard. That's no easy feat to sweep the Cubs when they got hot last year. But they did. They held the Cubs offense to little to nothing. Their pitching was just stellar, and they did good work out there. So I'm going to go ahead and put the Mets back at 1st place. I don't think they're going to skip a beat. I just think they're going to pick up what they left off last year. The Mets are a really good team, and I see them still being a really good team. And then I'm going to put the Nationals at 2nd for obvious reasons. Great team. They have one of the highest payrolls in baseball. They have Bryce Harper, probably top 3 players in the league right now. He's a leader. They're a good young team, and if they can keep that pitching going and get that offense hot at the same time, I think they're going to be a real threat to win the title this year. And then I'm going to go with Miami Marlins at third. You know, they have they have good pitching. They have a decent offense. They got a good manager. They just hired Mattingly from the Dodgers. I think they are going to be an improved team from last year. They will be a threat for second place. Second and third place will be a competition in this division. But I'm going to put them at third. But again, you know, real threat if they can get hot. And then the Atlanta Braves kind of going through a rebuilding stage right now. I have them finishing fourth. And then the Philadelphia Phillies, a real struggle. They've been rebuilding for a while, and I'm going to put them at fifth. All right, the NL Central, the group of death, so to speak. Got the St. Louis Cardinals, Pittsburgh Pirates, Chicago Cubs, Milwaukee Brewers, and Cincinnati Reds. Wow, great division. This is the group of death in baseball this year, hands down. You got three really good teams that can win this division. It's all about who's going to get hot and who plays well together. Now, the Cubs on paper in Vegas, definitely highest odds to win the title this year. They got to make sure they get that chemistry down. They got to make sure that offense stays hot. You know, they just added John Lackey, Jason Hayward, Ben Zobrist. This is going to be a great team. They're going to be super fun to watch. I think they're going to finish first place. I really do. Last year, it wasn't supposed to be their year last year, but people started to feel like, oh, maybe this is our year. It wasn't their year. The Mets were a little bit hotter than them. But this could very well be the year that they do this. We saw the Royals 2 years ago lose in the World Series to the Giants. Super good team, got hot late, put themselves on the map. We see that with the Cubs last year. They got super hot. They put themselves on the map. They proved their ace to be Jake Arrieta. He won the Cy Young. They put themselves on the map, and I see the Cubs doing the same thing that the Royals did last year. Super good, getting knocked out of the playoffs the year before. Super good, come back next season, make the World Series, win the World Series. I could see that happening with the Cubs. So I'm going to put that at number one. Pittsburgh Pirates, I'm going to take at number two, actually. They've been fighting for so long. I feel like this is finally they got the chip on their shoulder that they need to finish second in the division. I think the people that the Cardinals lost, it's going to be like a little momentum shift there. They're going to kind of lose their edge, so to speak, a little bit. So I'm going to put the Cardinals at third, even though they're going to get Wainwright back. They're going to be still a really good team, but they lost some pieces. They lost Hayward, Lackey, and Reynolds. So, I feel like they might lose a little bit of edge, so I'm going to put them at third. And then I'm going to put the Cincinnati Reds at fourth. And the Milwaukee Brewers I'm going to put at fifth because they're going through a really bad rebuilding stage right now as well. All right, let me go ahead and give you who I think is going to be in the World Series from the American League. Honestly, it's going to come down to probably like the Astros, the Blue Jays, and the Royals again. I feel like the Blue Jays are going to make it. For some reason, I feel like they're going to make it this year. The Royals, can never count them out. And the Astros, we saw what they did last year. Can't count them out either. But I'm going to go just, throw it out there. I'm going to go with the Blue Jays in the World Series for the American League. And in the National League, I have to go with the Cubs. On paper and in Vegas, they seem to be the favorite. If they can get that chemistry down, they can figure themselves out, figure out how to play together. I think they're going to be a real threat. But, the Mets and the Dbacks and the Giants, that's going to be like 4 or 5 great teams in there that are all going to compete. So anything can really happen. But, I'm going to go ahead and go with the Blue Jays and the Cubs for the World Series. Now, I think it's time. I think it's time for the Cubs to win. I really do. I think this is their year. They have the team to do it. They have the coach, the rotation, the fans, the city. It's their time. I really think they're going to win this one this year. That'd be really cool to see them do that. Yeah, I don't believe in curses, but it has been a long time since they won the World Series, so it would be really nice to see them win. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Chicago Cubs, 2016 World Series champions. Long time coming, right? Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed it, feel free to like it or subscribe it, whatever you want to do. I'm just an honest baseball fan, just out here, loving the game and just observing from a distance. And I really like coming out with these prediction videos just to share my opinion. I'm open to your guys' opinion as well. If you guys want to comment and tell me anything you guys think, a little bit of tweaks here and there to my prediction, maybe give me a little bit about your prediction. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. You guys have a good day. We'll see you later.